biggest red pill moment. And when I'm talking about red pill, I'm not talking about like female nature type red pill. I'm just talking about like red pill as in like realizations about like life red pill. I'm more referring to like Matrix kind of red pill. You know what I mean? Not to sound, not trying to sound all Andrew Tate-ish vibes, but like, you know, before the COVID lockdown, like I'll tell a little story about my experience with COVID lockdowns. But before I get into that story, I just want to say, if you want to book a one-on-one coaching call to get in the best shape of your life and reach your fitness goals, hit that link in the description down below. I'll be happy to help you. But with that being said, let's get into this story. So a couple years ago, I think COVID was like 5 years ago now, started in 2020. So that's about almost 5 years ago. Correct me down below in the comments. But yeah, I would say roughly about almost 5 years ago. You know, 2019, I was in a spot where, if you guys watch me, you kind of know a little bit of my story. I was in a spot where I was starting to self-improve. I was starting getting self-improvement. You know what I'm saying? I was, you know, got into university. I started making strides on my fitness journey. You know, I got a job. I was making money, right? Because 2018, I was like, right after high school, I was down bad. Like I had nothing going for me. And then 2019 was like that rise up where I was like, okay, like I'm starting to see shit happening. I'm starting to see the vision, right? I'm starting to see the fruits of my labor starting to come out, right? And then COVID lockdown was kind of like a halt. It kind of put a halt in my entire progress. It was like, shit. You know what I mean? Like I was just starting to self-improve. I was just starting to put points on the board, and now like gyms are taken away. I'm on online classes. So my grades started to take a dip because, you know, I couldn't focus online. It was really hard to focus online. I can't do online school. Like it was boring, and you would rather just be watching Netflix and like, you know, cause I had a TV in my room, right? And it distracted me. So I was not going to the online Zoom class. I'd be falling asleep in the Zoom classes. So online school just wasn't for me, right? Some people prospered, but I was not one of those people. I was not one of those people who prospered online, right? And on top of that, you know, I mean, work was still good. I did get a lot more hours, you know, cause like the job that I worked for was an essential company. So I was able to flourish actually. And then I was actually to flourish financially a little bit because I was saving a lot of money. I will say that. But then again, back then, I didn't have the mindset that I have now. So I was spending my money on like stupid shit like Uber Eats all the time. And like, you know, just dumb shit, like ordering online, like clothes and food and just being dumb. I was really stupid with my money. I'm not going to lie. Like I was just not spending it properly, just eating out all the time, honestly. If I were to go back, I would spend it better. But what I was saying with the story, like, yeah, like COVID lockdown was the time where like, it was a time of isolation, right? I was in the gym. I felt like I was reverting back to my old self. Like I'm always talking about recreating yourself, becoming someone that you're actually proud of, right? And it was actually it was actually during that period where I read the book 48 Laws of Power, where it talks about recreating yourself. It was during COVID lockdown. I read the book 48 Laws of Power, and I found the chapter of the book called, you know, 25, recreate yourself. And this part that stood out to me the most, where it said, create a character, like you have to view yourself like a work of art, like you're molding clay, right? Like your life is like clay. Like you are the clay and you are the artist, right? You are the artist of your life and you're molding yourself into the image that you want to be. And that stuck with me because there's so much power in that. When you can view your life in a way that you have full control and you are the artist and you can control who you want to be, that is something very powerful, right? And that was one of the books that kind of transformed my mindset during that time of isolation, right? Because I was down bad in that time, right? COVID lockdowns, I'm alone, can't see your friends, can't see anybody, you're at home, scrolling, you're watching content, and from social media, I couldn't be in the gym, right? But I had my calisthenics, because the one thing about me is I never made excuses for myself. I always tried to find a way to overcome the obstacles. So, you know, I was going out to the parks and stuff. I would do at-home workouts, whatever I had to do. Like in the wintertime, it was at home, but I did whatever I had to do, right, to recreate myself, you know? That book, reading it changed me in COVID because it made me realize that I am the artist of my own life, right? And COVID literally just put me in the position where I was like, okay, you're either going to let your circumstances dictate where you're going to be in life, or you dictate where you're going to be in life, right? So I didn't allow, it took me a while to realize this, right? it took me a while until like the end of COVID to realize this, but I had to realize that it was really up to me to like change my entire life. It was really up to me. Like I couldn't blame COVID lockdowns. I couldn't blame the government. I had to stop pointing the finger, and I had to really point the finger back at myself. Like that COVID lockdown really was really a red pill moment where I was like, yo, I had to literally take self-accountability from my own life. You know what I mean? Like you're failing school, okay? Maybe it's your fault. Maybe if you wouldn't be watching Netflix, maybe you'd be passing, right? You fell off on your fitness journey, okay? Well, gyms are not around, but you could still be doing home workouts and going to the parks to figure out how to get yourself back in shape, right? You're broke, you're spending all this money. Well, stop spending money, maybe save your money, right? It really forced me to take accountability. And especially another huge pivotal red pill moment that also kind of wraps all this together was, I don't know if you guys remember the whole BLM fiasco going on in the States. And that was really big, and I realized in that entire time, right? Before COVID lockdowns, I kind of had a little bit of like I always had a little bit of like a victim mentality, just because of how like growing up, you always hear people say, oh, because you're black, you have less of an opportunity than everyone else because of your skin color, because you're a minority, this, that, and the third, right? They always don't want to make you feel like because you're like a minority, you have less of an opportunity, right? And when you take that into your mind and you believe that, it's very dangerous, right? And during the whole BLM protest thing, and I just see all these people protesting, all this craziness going on, it kind of led me down a rabbit hole, because you're at home most of the time. And I was doing down a rabbit hole. I started consuming different kinds of content and trying to like expand my mind a little bit. And, that's where I kind of came up with this idea that, I realized that, especially black people, we tend to use the victim card a lot. We tend to victimize ourselves a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, maybe there probably is racism going on out there, right? But we have to understand that it's not at the degree that it was years ago, right? We have to understand that we still have opportunities. We can't keep buying into the lie that we are less than, that just because we're black, we are less than everybody else, right? We have to believe in ourselves, right? Because if we don't believe in ourselves, then who else will, right? And I think if black people really, that was another realization, is that if black people want to be like successful and like change the narrative, we got to change ourselves. We got to recreate ourselves. And that's where it all kind of ties together, right? Reading that book, right? And that 40 Laws of Power, seeing Law 25, and then seeing that whole BLM protest, what do you call it? Seeing it all, what's the word I'm looking for? Transpire, seeing it come to life. I put two and two together and I realized black people, we have to recreate ourselves. We have to recreate ourselves into the people that we want to be, right? And, I was doing a lot of research during that time, and I figured out the richest man to ever live was black. So with that knowledge, how can I ever view myself as a victim, right? That's when I had to understand that I had to change from the victim mentality to a victor mentality, right? Because if I can develop a victor mentality, then I can inspire other black people to have that same kind of mentality, right? And go out into the world and make the changes that we want to see. If you want change, you got to be the change. You know what I mean? Like COVID lockdowns, the biggest red pill that I took from the COVID lockdown was I literally had to, one, take accountability for myself and recreate myself, become someone that inspires and commands attention, create a character that never bores the audience, create a character, that wins, right? Create a character that's a winner, create a character that's a lion instead of a sheep, create a character that thinks for himself instead of going with what the mainstream media wants to say all the time, you know what I mean? Like COVID lockdowns is really just a time for me to just like reflect and think for myself for the first time, right? Really speak my mind and kind of just like not just follow what everybody else is saying. People are telling you to get your vaccine, without doing any research, just blindly following. For the first time, COVID lockdowns, I was starting to ask questions. I was researching, I was reading more. Now, And I really would say that the COVID lockdowns, I kind of became who I am today, you know what I mean? Just someone who thinks for themselves, doesn't victimize themselves, sees themselves as a winner, as a victor, right? And that's kind of the message that I would like to share to you guys, you know what I mean? You know, in terms of whatever it is, maybe you think you're a victim, maybe you have a mentality where you think your life is, you don't have control over your life. Well, I'm here to tell you, you do have control over your life, right? You do have the power to change your life. You do have the power to be whoever you want to be, right? It's probably going to take some time. It's probably going to take a while, but you can do it, right? You got to just stay 10 toes down. You got to figure out a plan to recreate yourself. And I think the best way to recreate yourself is to literally get in the gym, get in the best shape of your life. Because getting in great shape is literally a paradigm shift. It creates this paradigm shift in your brain that, oh shit, if I can, because when you make that night and day difference from getting jacked from going from skinny or obese to in shape, jacked, you'll start to realize like, yo, like if I can make this transformation, I can do this in other areas of my life. It flips a switch in your brain that if I can fix my fitness, then maybe I can fix my finances. Maybe I can fix, you know, my dating life. Maybe I can fix my GPA, my studies, my school career. Maybe I can fix this, that, and the third. Maybe I can change my entire life. If I can just change my fitness, right? And I see this tangible evidence that it can be done, maybe I can also change this area of my life. You know what I mean? And to wrap this all up, the COVID lockdowns made me realize that we have the power to recreate ourselves, right? We can be whoever we want to be. And that's why I'm always preaching. You know, I'm always preaching, recreate yourself, because you can recreate yourself into the image that you want to be, right? And like I'm always saying, there's nothing enlightening about playing small. There's nothing enlightening about playing small because other people don't feel insecure around you, because we all have the power. We all have, you know, we're all children of God. We all have the power to change our lives. It's not just in some of us, it's in everybody, right? And if you are able to let your light shine, like everybody else shines as well, right? I got that from Coach Carter, right? And that's so deep. I save it on my phone. I look at it every day because it's so true. Because we all have the power to recreate ourselves, right? It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And through recreating ourselves, we can inspire other people to recreate themselves, right? So it's not just about you, it's for the bigger picture, because if you recreate yourself, you inspire others to do it, right? But that's all I really have to say for this video. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, and send this to someone who really needs to hear it. Let me know what you think down below, and remember, there's nothing enlightening about playing small. I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.